And welcome to Inside the Program, brought to you on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm your host, Justin Wells, but with me as always is Eric Nalin. It's Friday. It's game week. We're 24 hours from Texas, Michigan. This is the most exciting time. This is the time to join Inside Texas. Eric, before we get started, please join Inside Texas today. We have got it running a flash sale, 50% off all annual memberships. Listen, use promo code HOOK'em for 50% off of your membership. This is the time to join right now. Texas and Michigan, man, we're close. We've been building up. We've had a lot of fun this week interacting with the Wolverine over on On3. So many good storylines, Eric. Let's just jump right into it. More confidence than the Bama game last year. And this was an interesting thing pre-production. I honestly, I read that and I thought, okay, we're diving into some really deep stuff. Why are you hearing? What are you hearing on that end about how this could be a more confident bunch than going into Tuscaloosa last year?
Well, I think they just become more confident each year under Sark. Every year the team gets a little bit better. The culture improves a little bit more. The talent improves a little bit more, and they become more of a team every year. They just keep taking the next step. That doesn't mean that they're overconfident going into this game at all. That's far from it. They're going to get Michigan's best shot. They've got to give Michigan their best shot in return. But yeah, I mean, they were pretty confident going into Tuscaloosa last year. It showed in the way they played. It showed in the way they closed out that game. I think they have a little bit more confidence just because they were able to get that win last year. Each win, it's going to build your confidence just naturally. But they've got a lot of leadership. We've got an experienced team, veteran unit. They should be a little bit more confident than they were going into Tuscaloosa last year. That doesn't mean they're going to win. Confidence doesn't matter once Michigan starts punching you in the mouth.
I think Sark has some of that confidence as well. What has been the team mindset this week? I know you and I had talked about earlier this week where it was very business-like, it felt like, at the facility. A lot of, just serious faces walking around, still enjoying the moment, but they felt like there was a bigger something going on. What are you hearing about that mindset in the locker room?
Yeah, it's definitely focused. It's you don't want to say that some weeks are bigger than others as far as that, but some teams have your attention a little bit more than other teams do. And, that's going to focus the first guy to the 85th guy a little bit more. And that bled into practice. Practice was a little bit more physical, not just the team portions, but, one-on-one drills, individual drills, the team run, all the times that they have to, tackling drills were a little bit more physical, just getting ready for that team. That's, when you're going to play Michigan on the road, that they're going to punch you in the mouth. You got to punch them right back. I think that has their attention. Their reputation certainly has their attention. And it was just generally a more focused week than normal.
Last year, it felt like the Bama game was almost like Quinn Ewers' coming out party. He had good games before that, but not on that stage. How does Quinn Ewers look this year, 24 hours before going into Ann Arbor? And there's a lot of little storylines, especially being a former Ohio State Buckeye. We know how much they hate the Wolverines. How is he looking going into Ann Arbor this year?
Well, I mean, he seems always locked in for the big games. His that first year going against Alabama, he was on a tear before he got hurt at the end of the first quarter. That confidence carried over into the game in Tuscaloosa. Other than a couple careless decisions or picks early in big games, he tends to settle down and play lights out. He looked really good this week. Something we said before the season was he's making throws that NFL defensive backs wouldn't be able to knock down. We saw that with that Matthew Golden touchdown in the flat that somehow got around the defender. I still don't know how he did that, the matrix ball. Michigan has an NFL corner. Will Johnson is an NFL corner. And given how, Quinn's attacked his own defensive backs, I feel like they're going to go after Will as well. But if Will is shutting him down or maybe picks him once, there's plenty of other options. But he had a very good week. It's just a kind of continuation of where he was in August camp. And after week one, I'm expecting a big game out of Quinn.
Over the summer, Texas, they dabbled with some Michigan stuff. They're always looking. They're always installing. And then once you get to this week, this might be the best defense they faced this year, at least that front, that defensive front. What are some of the new offensive installs that you're hearing about?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be able to say that.
Without giving away the farm.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, Michigan comes in with a reputation of, the good part about it is Wink Martindale's reputation is so obvious about, blitzing that, and it's also matched to some of Quinn's issues in the past. He likes to blitz, and Quinn has had issues with the blitz. Well, Steve Sarkisian's had all off season to think about that. When he has a little bit of free time, he's gonna start running some options through his head. There's a lot of confidence in the game plan. Based on, just kind of, they know that they have to help Quinn out. The offensive line has to help Quinn out. The skill players have to help Quinn out. But also Coach Sarkisian does as well. And then Quinn just has to go out and execute and make plays. I feel like they've got a good plan. They're going to have good protections for them. They got plenty of athletes in space. They've got, intermediate routes. They've got quick routes. They've got RPOs they can go with. I feel like they've got a really good, based on what I've heard, they've got a good offensive game plan. Why would Texas Homer put up new offensive installs? Like, we're not, we can't go in that far in depth.
Yeah. We don't want to give away too much, but I think Saturday is going to be fun. I really do, and I know you've heard the same thing. Hey, let's give some love to the man, Andre the Lawyer. This video is brought to you by that man, Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, you need to trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and that has helped thousands of Texans with their injury cases, from car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Do not let an insurance company tell you what your claim is worth. Call Andre the Lawyer at 214-444-8808. Let him fight for you. His principal's office is based in Dallas. He helps Texans across the country. Please call in Andre the Lawyer if you're ever in trouble. This is the guy to help you out. 214-444-8808. All right. We shifted a little bit from offensive. Now let's talk a little bit about the keys to the Michigan game. I have a few in my head, but really I want to hear what people inside the program are hearing. What are the keys that you're hearing going into Saturday?
Well, they expect Michigan to come out and try to run it, and then run it some more and be physical. The whole key is to, keep them behind the sticks, keep them, don't let them have too much success. They can't get to the point where Michigan's breaking big runs, chunk yardage in the running game, because that's when they're off and running. So minimize run explosives in the run game. And then, if they do get going on in the run, they're going to have trouble with that quarterback, even though that quarterback is a big drop off from J.J. McCarthy. So they're going to have to get pressure on him once he starts throwing the ball, if they do get running. But step number one is minimize explosive plays. Keep the tight end under wraps. They've got a good plan for him. But number one is stopping the run, or at least getting them in third and medium rather than third and short.
Get them out of their comfort zone, because I feel like they will try to deflate the ball in some sense. I almost feel like they're going to run down the clock between plays. What's going to be the strength of the Michigan offense? Obviously, we all know about Colston Loveland, one of the best tight ends in the country. Donovan Edwards is kind of a hit and miss guy on Saturdays. Sometimes he's in, sometimes he's not. What are you thinking the strength of this Michigan offense is?
Well, it's definitely perimeter blocking. Source didn't hesitate on saying that. The tight ends, the fullbacks, they'll bring in an extra offensive lineman. They really extend the gaps that you have to cover. It's that perimeter blocking. But Texas has a lot of counters for that. We know that they're going to be in base a lot. That's the reason they have bases to go up against these two tight end offenses. But now, Michigan goes even bigger than that. And so Texas will match. They've got some things in the cards to match that with bigger personnel, even bigger than base. So, we'll see. I expect, I think Alfred Collins can have a big game disrupting that perimeter blocking. We'll see. But also, linebackers need a big game. We'll see. That perimeter blocking is the big concern. The offensive line is new, but, their fullback and their tight end have a lot of experience. They're quality players. So if Texas can really bottle them up there, they're going to have trouble running the ball.
How is Texas going to be able to counter Michigan's big personnel?
That's what we're talking about. They're just going to have to get bigger. They can insert an extra, a fourth defensive lineman, like a real defensive lineman, a fourth 300-pounder if they need to. They can bring in an extra linebacker. This is going to be a physical game. From the corners have to be physical, the safeties have to be physical, but especially the front and the linebackers have to be physical. So if you're a big physical Texas Longhorn, you're probably going to see the field on Saturday.
The top target is a tight end. That sounds like a former Jim Harbaugh coach team who's now in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Colston Loveland, we mentioned him earlier. Eric, I watched Michigan Fresno State a few days ago. He's legit. This dude, if you're playing college football 25, that's your primary target for Michigan. Loveland he's great. What's going to be the plan for this guy? How are they going to limit him?
Yeah, the good thing about him is he's really, I mean, he fits that offense perfectly, but he's more of a ball control sort of tight end. He likes to use his body. He's got really big hands. He's going to work his way back to the ball. He's not a huge, seam threat. He's not going to break off a 50-yarder. He's not Brock Bowers. I don't even think he's Jatavian Sanders in the open field. So he's kind of a dink and dunk tight end, curls, digs, that sort of thing. He's very physical at the top of his stem. They're going to have to match that physicality with whoever's on him, and they're going to have to switch up their coverages on him and try to keep everybody confused. The quarterback confused, Colston not knowing where help's coming from, and then they got to hit him. He's physical. They got to hand him his physicality right back to him.
I was on the show, the Wolverine with EJ Holland, and we were talking Texas, Michigan this week, and he made a really good point. He said, Alex Orji, since the end of the national championship, I believe it was in the mid-January, he said he's had almost 9 months to win this job, and he didn't. And it was almost like they thought it was almost going to be given to him. Like they thought he would be the next guy, the next man to step up, and he just hasn't been. He's almost a change of direction in some sense. When he does get on the field, he's in a sense like a Jalen Milroe, definitely not to that level, but once he tucks it, he is a big running back in the field. How are the Horns going to handle Alex Orji when he makes an appearance?
Well, the good thing is, when he's in the game, they're really predictable. At the same time, they're ready for him to pull up and throw it. You're obviously going to counter what you're most predictable at. That's what Sark loves, being predictable, because then it creates counters for him. So they're aware of the counter. He threw a touchdown last week. It was basically an extended handoff. But yeah, big personnel, be physical, win at the point of attack, and watch out for that. He's going to throw it at some point. You can't lose your eyes. You can't let an offensive player get behind you, whether it's the tight end, the fullback, any of those guys. They've got a lot of guys that can slip out into the open field if you're keying them too much. So that you're going to have to be on your note mentally, but also physically. But it's not like he's going to drop back and cut you apart. They're pretty predictable when he's in. He's going to have one read as a receiver if he's even allowed to throw it. Other than that, he's going to run it.
Eric, we got a game in the morning, and literally in the morning, 11 a.m. Central. Inside Texas is the place to be. We are having so much fun doing this. Come hang out with us. Join Inside Texas today. We are running a flash sale, 50% off a year membership. You get it for 50% off when you use the promo code HOOK'em. Texas, Michigan, Saturday. We'll be here on the YouTube channel before the game. We'll be here on the YouTube channel after the game. Bubba, safe travels. This is going to be a lot of fun. We've got some confidence at InsideTexas.com. Fans, thank you so much for joining us today and making us a part of your day and joining us on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.